federal government of Nigeria may have taken steps to cut off the sources of funds for terrorist group Boko Haram as part of efforts to end the insurgents in the northeast, but it appears the government has more to do in this regard. This is due to the fact that a report by the United Nations has identified extortion, charitable donations, smuggling, remittances and kidnapping as part of ways the terror group is being funded. The report blamed the activities of Boko Haram and other terrorist groups in the Lake Chad Basin region on the predominance of the cash economy as a major factor. The disclosure is contained in the 22nd report of the Analytical Support and Sanctions Monitoring Team pursuant to Resolution 2368 concerning Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant, Al-Qaeda and associated individuals and entities. Earlier this year, the African Union declared the theme of its 2018 summit as winning the fight against corruption, a sustainable path to Africa's transformation. This provides a critical opportunity to make progress in the fight against corruption and to mitigate its corrosive impact on prosperity, growth, security, and the fight against extreme poverty. As part of its contributions to the activities of the year, the African Governance Platform, through its secretariat, will convene a regional youth consultations for Southern Africa, which is taking place in Botswana between August 15th to the 17th, under the theme Leveraging Youth Capacities for the Fight Against Corruption in Africa. The overall goal of the regional youth consultation is to provide a collaborative, open and inclusive space to leverage and foster the meaningful participation of young people in the fight against corruption in Africa. One campaign ambassador, Tuface, is in Botswana, and he joins us live on the program to tell us more about this. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
So what more can the Regional Youth Summit taking place in Botswana?
I mean, I'll just describe it as a very right movement in a very right direction. You know, this is a platform for, youth from across the continent to come and really talk about what they're feeling, what form a stronger, consciousness in understanding and knowing how to deal with, and knowing how to get involved in the fight against corruption across Africa.
Now, most times when we talk about corruption in Africa, it usually involves political leaders, especially the sit-tight leaders who would like to cling on to power for as long as possible. What role do you suggest that the youth can play in ending the culture of corruption and impunity on the continent?
Well, I think, the youth is I would say, is the backbone of any nation, you understand, because the energy is there, the brain capacity is there. So for me, I think they just have to get involved. They no longer have to just sit down and think that this doesn't affect them anymore. They have to get involved. Most of the leaders you have today, they were, young men when they got into this position. You understand? So the youth have to know that, look, they have to really actively get involved. And apart from leaders, corruption spreads, wide. Even private people also practice corrupt practices. You understand? So it's for us, all of us, to get our mindsets right. We just need to rearrange our priorities. We need to bring back our values. You understand? Our value system has to change from what it has become. You understand what I'm saying? So I think the youth can get involved, change the narrative, so to speak. We just have to pull the bull by the horns right now. So it's.
The issue of corruption has been on for quite a while. It's not a new thing. And most African countries usually pay lip service to ending it without achieving anything. If this problem is not tackled, what impact is it going to have on the continent's growth and stability?
Wow. If this is not tackled, man, I think I see a very massive disaster, waiting to happen. I mean, whatever is happening, whatever hardship we're facing right now, is child's play if we don't tackle corruption now. What's going to happen in the near future is going to be is a massive disaster waiting to happen, because corruption, it messes up everything: educational system, the healthcare system. It's a breeding ground for terrorists. It's the major reason for major conflicts across the continent. you know. And, you know, when you have too many unemployed youths, too many people unable to afford healthcare, too many people unable to send their kids to school, it's, like I said earlier, it's a massive disaster waiting to happen. We just can't afford that. We are too rich. We are too rich a continent to afford that to happen to us. It would be a tragedy to be I don't even want to picture what will happen.
Finally, let's talk about Nigeria. How would you assess the federal government's fight against corruption? Are there any improvements you would like to see in this fight?
Yeah, definitely would like to see a whole lot. Like for me, the Nigerian government right now, I think they're not really communicating with the people. So we don't even know what's happening. We don't know what's going on. You know, today we hear something, we hear this, and all of that we just hear. We don't know exactly what's going on. And I think that's a major problem with this administration right now. The lack of communication. Communicate with the people. Let us know the progresses you're making. Let us know just let the people know so that we don't have to depend on fake news. We don't have to depend on, and whatever we hear, we tend to want to believe it. You understand what I'm saying? You know, in the right direction and fighting corruption, but I mean, for me, not fighting corruption at all is worse. So at least for trying to fight it is something. But you know, I think they can put in more effort. I think, you know, they have to be more open and more transparent.
One campaign ambassador, Innocent Udibia, we do appreciate having your thoughts, your insights, and your opinion on the program. Thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa.
Thank you.